The creation of the gun brought forth a revolution in weaponry that continues to evolve with every year and decade that goes by. What was once hard to maintain and use have become so easy that anyone can pick up a gun and fire it, which is why many nations and companies go beyond the basics and try to make incredibly powerful guns for people and armies to use in order to defend themselves. But which ones stack up above the others? Which ones make the biggest impact? Allow us to show you the 10 most powerful guns in the world. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 10. Punt Gun. No, this isn't a gun that can punt footballs or soccer balls. It is way more destructive than that. And we say that because this is absolutely the largest shotgun ever constructed. It's usually between 8 to 13 feet in length as well. And we all know that a kick that a regular shotgun has, so imagine trying to fire this thing all on your own, which would not be easy because this punt gun can weigh between 110 to 250 pounds. Yep, really. Now, of course, what might be going through your mind now is, why would such a massive shotgun exist? Well, to answer that question, the answer is duck hunting, because what many people would do is strap the punt gun onto their boats lengthwise, get up on a bunch of ducks, and then pull the trigger. Because of the amount of shot that would be put into the barrel, it would go and spray the entire area in pellets and thus kill a lot of ducks. Overkill? Absolutely, but that's how it goes at times. So if you're curious about how effective this would be, you can see a video of punt guns taking out 128 clay pigeons at once. So yeah, that is a lot of power. In fact, it was deemed to be too powerful and thus is banned in many countries because many felt that having these guns would lead to extermination of certain bird species. Number 9. The AA-12. Continuing on with our shotgun talk, let's talk the AA-12. This is an older model of shotgun, yes, but not unlike the punt gun, it does make up for it with its function. Because as you no doubt know, shotguns are revered weapons because they're able to go and do impressive short-range damage without having to go and aim all the time like you would do with pistols and assault rifles. But that comes at the cost of having to reload all the time because you can only get a certain amount of shots off. Maxwell Hutchinson went and fixed that through the AA-12. This is an automatic shotgun that doesn't need constant reloading until you fire all the bullets in one of its drums, each of which holds 32 rounds, and at a full auto mode you can empty that drum in just 32 seconds, which is incredible, and you can see why this gun is a staple in movies and video games. Number 8. Thunder 50 BMG. One of the reasons that there are so many different kinds of guns out there in the world today is that you need a bigger gun to handle bigger tasks. A handgun can easily hurt a person or take out parts of a car, but if you're facing down something like an armored tank, you're screwed. That is, unless you have the Thunder 50 BMG. This is a handgun that is specifically designed to go and pierce tank armor, and as you can see from this gun's design, the thing had to be outfitted to handle that task in several ways, as not to explode itself from the blast of firing a 50 caliber round. Yep, this pistol fires 50 caliber bullets that are usually reserved for massive machine guns or sniper rifles. In fact, because of its design, dangerous recoil, and more, the Thunder 50 BMG has never entered military service. You'll usually only see this weapon in the hands of collectors. Number 7. The Feiffers Aliska 600 Nitro Express. Meet the Feiffers Aliska 600 Nitro Express, a revolver that is so powerful and rare that there are only 2 of them in the world today, and it is known as quite the hefty piece. Now we say that rather easily as the Nitro Express is a revolver that weighs 13 pounds. Yeah, it's heavy, and usually you have to fire it on a rest to ensure accuracy. This beast of a gun was built for the purpose of hunting big game like buffalo via the most powerful round in the world at the time, the 600 Nitro Express. Now, it's not the most powerful anymore, obviously, but this gun was able to house that powerful round, though at a cost. You see, this gun has terrible recoil, and if you're not smart in terms of using it, you're going to get a concussion and hearing damage just from the sound of the gun firing. Number 6. Soviet KPV. During the age of the Cold War, the 2 biggest threats to nations like the US and the Soviet Union were nuclear bombs, which both sides were stockpiling, and tanks. Both sides had rather impressive tanks that were tested in battle, and so both sides needed weapons to pierce the armor of those vehicles. The Soviet KPV was their response to that need. This was both a machine gun and an anti-tank weapon that could have automatic fire and pierce tanks with incredible think armor. Its bullets alone are enough to scare you, and then when you see them fire and do damage, you're gonna be grateful you never have to face this in real combat. It is so good at what it does that it won't just fire on tanks, but it can reach planes about a mile in the air. It is considered the most powerful gun of its kind and has been that way for about 70 years. Number 5. Anzio. There are many different types of rifles out there in the world right now, but one that you may not heard of is the anti-material rifles. These are meant to go and destroy all sorts of things like vehicles, armor, walls, anything the enemy might be using, and thus taking them out will disrupt their operations. The Anzio is the most effective and powerful anti-material weapon in the world today, not the least of which is that it's so long and accurate that it can hit targets a record 2.8 miles away. You won't even know where this bullet is coming from until it's hitting something next to you, or, you. Now, this rifle can be loaded up with standard ammunition or explosive rounds for extra damage, not that it needed a reason to be even more powerful. Number 4, the SSK 950 JDJ. We've already shown you a lot of big guns that have a lot of big ammo in their barrels, but what about the gun that has the biggest ammo? That would be the 950 JDJ, which is shot from a rifle called the SSK 950 JDJ. Now, the gun itself had to be made big and heavy in order to fire this round effectively, and thus weighs 50 pounds. And if you were foolish enough to try to fire this thing with just your hands, the recoil would fling you back incredibly. Even on a rest, the gun is known to shoot upwards and push the shooter back. Because of its size, recoil, and while it's just natural overpowering nature, the SSK only had 3 rifles made, and the bullets were discontinued in 2014. Should you find a range that has a gun, you'll be paying $80 a round to fire this mammoth. Number 3, Glock 17. In terms of overall great weapons in the world, the Australian Glock 17 is easy to use, reliable, and powerful all in its own right. But if you want overwhelming firepower, you need to get its machine gun attachment. Yep, they found a way to turn this pistol into a dual magazine machine gun. And yeah, it's pretty awesome to see fire. At its peak, it can fire 200 rounds with no issues. It's complete and overkill, and yet we can't look away. And what might surprise you is that this modified pistol at full auto can go faster than full-on machine guns, and yet it only weighs 6 pounds, even with the extra magazine. Number 2, the RPG-28. When you hear RPG, you know that these weapons are light, mobile, and able to pierce through buildings, tanks, all kinds of metal, and so on. The RPG-28 is the best of the bunch and is able to go through metal that is 3 feet thick. That is an incredible amount of power. You can freehand this beast or put it on a stand, and you'll be able to hit targets nearly 1,000 feet away. Not bad, wouldn't you say? Number 1, Minigun M134. There are good guns, then there are great guns. There are powerful guns, and then there's the minigun. The minigun M134 is not just known for its power, but its rate of fire. This beast has 6 barrels that combined every second launches 100 bullets. That is insane to think about. Plus, it has a range of about a mile, and it's a gun that you see in airships and helicopters that fly over enemy encampments. It's that good and powerful that the military puts it wherever they can because they know that this beast will get the job done. And if you can believe it, in 2020, the makers of the gun promised to modify it so that it could handle even bigger ammo and give it a longer range. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the most powerful guns in the world that are out there right now? Can you believe how strong these weapons are? Do you think that some of them are too powerful for their own good? Do you think that there is any chance of an even more powerful gun that can be made? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.